Alright, so I'm not here today, so we need to talk about a couple of things that you were supposed to get from the video yesterday. So I'll start with this right here. This diagram is going to be recreated for you on the board to your left, just in case you need it again. What you were supposed to get from the video yesterday is the idea that this guy right here, the red angle, is congruent to this guy right here, the other red angle, because they're corresponding. They are corresponding. They're both the top right of their respective situations. Now, because this is a vertical angle here, this is congruent, and this is congruent. Alright? And then the same thing is true of the other four angles. This guy is congruent to this guy because they're corresponding. This guy is congruent to this guy because they're corresponding. The last part of this is that if I take any red angle and add it to any blue angle, it will equal 180 degrees. They're supplementary. Now, all of that information is on a handy diagram on the left side of the room, so make sure you check that out. It says red angles are congruent to each other, blue angles are congruent to each other, and if I take any blue plus red, it equals 180, which is supplementary. All right, from there, we're going to answer a couple of questions. So you want to pull up this guy right here. Okay, so the first 6 are just labeling alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side, interior. So use your notes from Wednesday and go ahead and get that done. I'm not helping you with that. I will help you with this down here though. Alright, so what we're going to do is it says find the measure of the indicated angle that makes lines U and V parallel. What does that mean? I want U and V to be parallel, so what angle does this have to be? The way we do this is first we need to find those angles here and darken in the lines that make them. Go ahead and take this transversal and darken it all the way over there. Darken in this right here. So we want to darken in the transversal and the two lines that form the two angles. From there, I need to decide, are these congruent or are these supplementary? It's one of the two. So looking at this and look at this, I'm like, well, okay, use my chart. Bottom left is not congruent to this guy, and I can tell because the bottom left here is congruent to this down here because they're corresponding. So these two, the question mark and the 54, are not congruent. You should be able to tell that from the chart on the left. So if they're not congruent, that means they have to add up to 180. So in order to figure out the question mark, I take 180 and I subtract away 54, and I end up with 126 degrees, which is my answer. Alright, let me come over here to number 8. Number 8's a little bit more tricky because it's got this extra line here. What do? Okay, first of all, highlight the lines that are supposed to be parallel. Darken them in. And then you're going to find the line that forms the 81 degrees and the question mark degree. And that's this one right here. Okay? Not this one. This one doesn't form the 81 degree angle. Just these. So now I can see highlighted what I'm looking for. Now, this angle here is congruent to this angle here, and this angle here, right? According to my chart, these are all congruent to each other. So if this is 81, this is also 81 degrees. All right. Go ahead and flip it over onto the back. Here, I need to solve for x. So how do I do that? First, I look here. What is the relationship between these two? Well, these are vertical angles to each other. That means that this is equal to this, and I can tell that also from my chart. So that means that 17x plus 1 is equal to 18x minus 6, and I want you to solve for x. So apply algebra liberally until solved. If you don't know how to algebra, you can get partial credit by setting up the equation correctly. All right, last one here. The relationship between this angle right here and this angle right here. So these are not corresponding to each other, and they're not any sort of vertical. So remember, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy are all congruent to each other. So that means him and him are not congruent. Therefore, they have to be supplementary. So they need to add up to 180. So how do I do that? That's going to be 13x plus 6, just the equation it gave me, plus 7x plus 14 equals 180 because they're supplementary. Then you're going to combine like terms, right? 13x plus 7x gives you 20x, and then 6 plus 14 gives you 20 equals 180, and you will once again solve for x. You're going to do this throughout the whole thing. I know right here it says find the measure of the angle indicated in bold. Well, it's really hard to tell which ones are bold, so let's circle the ones I want you to find. You're going to find that angle, that angle, that angle, and that angle. So find the circled angles. Find the circled angles. So that means you're going to solve for x and then plug it into that equation right there. All right? So you are responsible for 1 through 18. Do not do 19 or 20. You will turn it into the box when you are done, and you will not give the sub too much trouble.